Hello again. This is Tom, and for those just joining me, I've been talking about the lost art of spiritual warfare. So, what do you think when you hear that term? Do you think about angels and demons fighting in the heavens and your part in that battle? Well, that might be part of it, but an honest reading of Ephesians 6 tells a different story. It looks a whole lot more like rubber meets the road mud wrestling than nebulous grappling with spiritual beings. Spiritual warfare is about you keeping yourself in the love of God. God is going to invade various parts of the earth as you and I participate in prayer. But if you're not keeping yourself in an awareness of His love and protecting the most precious things that He has given you, you won't have the wherewithal to contest the devil anywhere. Well, just look at the divorce rate among Christians, for goodness sakes. If we can't see God move mountains there, why do you think the church can move a pebble in the heavenlies? As I pointed out, the two most precious, the most holy things God has given you are your identity, that is, your sense of self, and your destiny, the who and why of you, and that's what the devil attacks. And that's why 5 out of the 6 pieces of Ephesians gear are defensive, not offensive. It's not about taking it to the devil as much as it is about you standing in what the Lord has already given. You standing in your identity and your ministry. You standing in your relationships. God has already put you in Christ, complete and perfect. And that's what righteous means. You, the beloved of God, who God is just tickled about. Is that your perception of yourself? God has also determined your destiny before you were born and has planned each step of your bumbling path. And you can confidently take steps into your future you. Again, are you doing that? You are to stand in who you are and in what you are about. These are your 2 greatest soul needs and your 2 greatest promises that God has given you. That God has given you the who and the why of you. And as with Israel and the land of promise, it's done. It's done. In fact, Joshua is really the Old Testament version of Ephesians. You're taking the promised land. Jesus said, in your patience, possess your soul. So as this relates to spiritual warfare, the devil has a vested interest in you not embracing your identity and in you not fulfilling your destiny. He has an ally, obviously, within you, because it's hard to believe the sort of love God has for you. Behold what manner of love the Father has given to you. And it's hard to believe how important and significant you are to the Lord. And your mission, if you choose to accept it, in the ups and downs of life, is to know and believe, as John said, this overwhelming, passionate, determined, intimate love that God has for you personally. But as you and I grow in this, the devil will also use the stuff of life to get you to doubt and think that you are less and you have no future. And this is why spiritual armament. And I've talked the last few times about the breastplate and the cladding for your feet. And in brief, the breastplate is designed to protect you from the enemy's lies, which tell you that you are less. Righteousness says that you are right. You are right in God, right in yourself, right in your circumstances, right in relationships. And this breastplate protects your identity. Do you know how to put that on? And your feet clad with peace is not about you sharing the gospel with others, though we need to do that. It's about you having peace as you walk out your faith. Because whenever you take steps of faith, stuff happens. Whether it's the devil or your commitments are being tested or God just messing with you a bit, it can create anxiety and upset and keep you from going on. You can retreat or stop, bury yourself. And so Paul says, wrap your feet in peace. And Jesus as Lord is our peace. But the next protective piece of gear, which we're going to talk about today, is the shield of faith. Once you have a sense of who you are, the beloved of God, and once you can keep going when there's dust in the air, the devil has another trick up his sleeve, and it's called fiery darts. And what I've found is that these darts often come disguised as offenses, taking an offense and disappointment, and both are related to expectations. I shouldn't be treated this way. This shouldn't happen to me. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure you do. And these darts separate close friends. It separates you with the Lord. It separates you with other people. And these darts cause you to isolate yourself, or worse, get you to infect others with your offense. And once these darts hit, they keep smoldering. So God has given you a shield so you can keep those fiery darts from hitting you. And I'm going to read what I wrote in Ephesians and all that jazz because I think it's brilliant. Not because I wrote it, but the Spirit is brilliant. Because as I read this and looked into this, it just hit me. Because I thought beforehand that the shield of faith was something I had on my arm, and then I was aware of a dart, I have to block it. And I think, what a wearisome and futile task. Here comes one, here comes another one. But no, that's not what Paul's talking about. And the word that really opened it up for me was the word shield, which in the Greek means door. The Roman shield was wide and as tall as a door and designed for you just to stand behind, not to move it this way or that. So let me read this to you, and then I want to make one more small comment at the end. So with all of these, take the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all the flaming arrows of the evil one. And again, the word for shield is door. These pieces of armor, the breastplate and the cladding for your feet, will keep you safe most of the time. But once in a while, a demon will zing you with something that you don't expect, and you will find yourself tempted to take offense at something or someone. There's not much that burns as hotly as an offense, and once an offense is taken, it keeps smoldering. That's why you need to have ready at all times the mother of all protective gear, the shield of faith. And I'm not talking about a namby-pamby shield that fits on your arm, which you must continually move this way or that way in order to keep from getting hit. You talk about the need for being hyper-vigilant and looking for demons under every rock. You are to be aware and alert, but not this way. No, the shield that God has given you is as big as a door. You are to plant it right in front of you. That's right, between you and the cabal, a big honking shield that's impervious to projectiles. Your job is not to fend off each attack, but to stay behind it. And I learned how to stay behind this shield, by the way, from David, the worshiping warrior. He placed the Lord his shield before him at all times, whether tending sheep or bringing down a giant. Now, there were times when he didn't, and you can see how he opened himself up to hurtful attacks, but when you can learn, and while you can learn from these sloppy times, I'd rather focus on the times David did make the Lord his shield. David prioritized and cultivated the presence of the Lord wherever he was, in whatever situation he found himself. His desire for the presence overpowered propriety. Whether taking food which only belonged to priests, dancing foolishly before the masses with hardly anything on, or taking the ark of God's presence from behind the veil home with him, David did not accept old covenant prescriptions. While others thought God mouthed no, David heard one big yes. What barriers? The veils which kept everyone else away were entry points for David. Nothing was going to keep David from the intimacy he desired, even if he needed to live in the New Testament while everyone else lived in the Old. Regardless of the rules and regulations, David saw the heart of God because he walked by faith and not by sight, and he worshiped. Oh, how he worshiped. And that is the key for you as well. Nothing protects you from the devil's zingers as worshiping the one before you. So become a worshiping warrior. Put the Lord before you at all times. And just one last comment. The Roman shield was meant to be joined to other Roman shields. It was a soldier to soldier to soldier to soldier to soldier standing. And that's why the God has put you with people, your family for sure. Are you putting your shields together? Your church, are you finding people you can put your shields together with? Because spiritual warfare is not a solo event. It's most effective when we're doing this together. I recently heard someone say, find your people and you'll find your ministry. And that's so true, and that's what I've been praying about. But also, it's true for many things. You'll find your people and you'll find yourself. You'll find your people and you'll be able to stand, and having done all to stand. So until next time.